Lights are flashing on the starter stand. And we are racing. It was the outside once again of Camillo that got the jump, but Mawson leads them over the line as they work their way through Conica for the first time and up the hill. Camillo and also Mawson having a great battle there. It's Camillo with the lead. Mawson right down towards that white line as they cross the bridge, and Mawson makes the pass. Camillo's being shuffled back as Jake Coleman is up into second. Coleman now working hard to trying to stay right on the back bumper of the 88 cart of Joseph Mawson. Coleman from Glenmore Park is in the 7 cart. He races his way through the infield. Joseph Mawson doing the best. I think I saw the 20 cart of Rosinski, who was off the circuit just then. As we click off for lap number 1, it's Mawson, Coleman, Camillo, Hughes, Seaford in the 8 cart. Now that, Glyn, is a huge jump for the 8 cart. I thought he'd be one to watch starting out of position 12. And at the end of lap number 1, the 8 cart is sitting there in 5th position.
Yeah, that's a top effort, but I tell you what, second on first at the moment is really putting the heat on. Joe Mawson might have been number 1 all weekend, but he's having it put to him by Jake Coleman as we speak. Coleman is really close on the back of the Mawson cart as they come up towards Speedway Corner. It's the little 7 cart that started out a 3rd spot, beautifully held into the apex of the corner. The 88 cart runs a little bit wide. As they go down into Conica for the 3rd time, it's still Mawson that's a good leader as they head up towards the Yokohama Bridge, and a great gaggle of national lights behind them.
Well, I just got to say, Josh Seaford up to 4th place now. In fact, check that, he's in 3rd as he makes the pass on Camillo. So Seaford having a fantastic run here. He's fighting hard to keep the 92 of Camillo behind him. And when you look at the gap between the first 2 and Seaford in the 8 cart, it is looking like he could go a lot further. He was 2nd in the Premier State Cup. All he was hoping for is a top 10 at the state titles this year. At the moment, he's doing a fair bit better than that as he is running in 3rd place across the line, just 1.5 seconds back from Joseph Mawson, who is your race leader in cart number 88. Race order: Mawson, Coleman, Seaford, Camillo, Hughes and Zammit dropping back to 6th position.
Hughes and Zammit back there for 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th. They're in a massive dice in the middle of the pack. That battle group is heading down towards the hairpin now, but back to our leaders. It's still Mawson that's in the lead over the number 7 cart. This is a very impressive drive from the number 7 driver, Jake Coleman. He's started out of position 4 and is right up there in 2nd spot and really putting the pressure on Mawson, who's had a very much untroubled run for the first 3 races, or the first 4 races of the meeting. And as we speak, Mawson's still the leader as they head up towards the Yokohama Bridge, just looking for any difference in the power between the 2 carts, and there doesn't seem to be an ounce of power between the 2 of them. And we take our attention back to 3rd and 4th. There's a massive dice going on between those 2. That's Seaford and Camillo. And they're right at it as they and they're 2 closing up on the leaders as they head down towards the hairpin for the 4th time. It's still Mawson the leader over the 7 cart of Coleman, and the 2 protagonists in 3rd and 4th. That's Seaford and Coleman, Seaford and Camillo in 4th spot. 5th place is the 34 cart. Where's he come from?
I think it's Jordan Nicolou, who's up there in the Victorian driver. Nicolou running in 5th position at the moment. Zammit is back there in the 24, and if you look at that 24 and 34 battle, it has been brewing along for a while. The 34 of Nicolou just ahead of Zammit in the 24 now. Being disappointed, I thought Todd Hazelwood might have figured further up the order. But as you look at the 24 of Jordan Zammit running with the 34 of Nicolou, interesting to see that the Fairfield West driver in the 24 cart of Jordan Zammit was first in the club championship when he was a rookie He's had 4 club championships in 3 years, which isn't bad going. And his goal is to pick up another club championship this year and then to move on and take out a couple of state titles along the way.
Craig Coleman's right on the leader as there's a change of leaders. They come across the skyline. Yeah, Coleman in the 7 card has made a move on Mawson. I think it might be the first time this weekend that Mawson has been headed. So Coleman on his way down into the infield hairpin. That was a great move across the Yokohama Bridge. Got a tremendous run out of Conacher Corner, and inch by inch pulled back Mawson as they went over the Yokohama Bridge. They were side by side, and little Jake was the guy that came out with the biggest kahunas on the braking markers as they came over the skyline. And still, Mawson has definitely not given this up, and he's on the inside again there, side by side into Conacher. Mawson's got the goods this time, and Coleman's been forced back to second spot. Meanwhile, third place is heading up towards the 2 in front, and I believe that gap is coming down. But look at this, there's another. Well, it's not a change, but they're very close as they come down to Tractor Tyre Corner. It's still Mawson, the leader, over Coleman. And in third place now is Seifert in the number 8 cart. And he's having a good drive. He's come out of position number 12 to be running third. So he's having an exceptionally good final for the New South Wales Championships. But our leader in that championship is Mawson, and Mawson's already in the speedway. Look at the way little Coleman closes up on the back of him. For some reason, Mawson hangs it very wide coming through speedway, and Coleman catches him every time through there. Similar line through Conacher, and look at the gap that Coleman's made up on him as they head up towards the Yokohama Bridge. Coleman's cart should have the goods as they come over, but it'll be too far back this time. Right on the back bumper bar of the 88 cart as they head down towards the Tractor Tyre Corner. Meanwhile, 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th are having a terrific come together in the middle of the infield. Those drivers is Seifert, Nicolau, Camilo and Foster.
Yeah, they work their way through the infield once again, and there's nothing between them. Nicolau in the 34, Camilo in the 92. Foster's back there as well with Zamet in the 24. Zamet now falling further back, in fact, the 55 of Plum. So Plum's done a good job here. He's worked his way through the traffic, and now it's Foster from Ipswich who is really starting to make some big ground here in the 19 card. I think the 34 makes the pass across the top of the hill, and that sees Nicolau ahead of Seaford now. A great move there between those 2 drivers, but all the while James Foster is running those 2 down. Seaford runs wide through the hairpin. He just saw him soaring on the wheel there as he got up onto the back of Nicolau, and that's cost him a lot of ground. 6 laps remaining here for Joseph Mawson, your race leader, with Coleman running in 2nd. Nicolau in 3rd now, with Seaford in 4th. Then it's Foster, who's really trying to push for that position. Foster takes the spot. Foster up the inside through Conacher, and Seaford shuffled back one more spot, and it looks like Camilo wants to also get right in amongst that action as well.
It looks like Mawson has opened up a winning gap here. He's managed to get a bit of a break on Coleman. Coleman's dropped back probably 7 or 8 kart lengths at the moment. Similar distance back to currently running in 3rd place, and the head of that fantastic little tussle that's being fought out there for 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th position at the moment. No doubt about the fact that it's Nicolau in 3rd place. 4th place is the number 18 kart. That's Seaford, is it? Or Foster? No, it was Foster that is in 5th spot as they head up towards the Yokohama Bridge with 5 laps or 5.5 laps left to run in the final of the Junior National Light. But Mawson, the leader, comes over the skyline in clear first position. Coleman still in 2nd spot, but the gap back to 3rd is starting to narrow just a little bit. And it's still Nicolau in 3rd spot in that pink helmet out there. He's doing everything he can to urge his cart forward and trying to get up on the back of the flying little Jake Coleman.
After that early challenge by Coleman on Mawson, Mawson's really got with the program here, hasn't he?
He has.
Extending his advantage at the front of the field. Coleman sitting back there in 2nd spot. Then it's back to Nicolau. Nicolau doing enough to keep Foster at bay at the moment. Just has opened up that 0.4 of a second gap. Seaford fading after a huge run, and Hazelwood in the 11 has started to make his way forward. That's one of the few South Australians that's running here this weekend, Hazelwood, and he is up into 7th place, and I'm expecting to see a lot more speed out of him. So it's just whether the 3 laps that are remaining here, Glenn, will give him enough chance to try and challenge for a podium spot. But at the moment, it's the 88 of Joseph Mawson leading comfortably from Coleman in the 7, and then the 34 of Nicolau, with Foster starting to fade. Then it's back to the 92 of Camillo. Seaford is also running, well, not quite as well as he would have liked earlier in the race. And then Hazelwood. Zammit runs in 8th position, Plum fading in 9th, and then Saga rounds out the top 10.
It's remarkable, you know, with the 16 laps in the final, just how much the karts do go off through the course of the race. The quicker karts at the early part of the race certainly, and not that way at the end of the race. And the Hazelwood is a particular kart in mind. He's starting to make ground up now that he's got the necessary, I guess it's heat in the motor and the tyres and everything that's giving him that little bit extra. But he's definitely closing up onto the back of the kart in front of him. Our leader comes across the start-finishing line. There's 2 laps left to run. Coleman a second across as is normal. And next along is Nicolau, Foster, Camilo and Seaford in that order. Then comes Hazelwood from South Australia. But Hazelwood's one back at this stage. No, he's not. Hazelwood currently running in 7th place, so he's actually moved up 1 spot. And as those 4 karts go across the Yokohama Bridge, they're all glued nose to tail, and still Hazelwood that's the better of those as they come out of the skyline.
Camillo makes the pass there as they come towards the white flag board, so Camilla's got ahead of Foster. The 19 kart just fading, as you said, it ebbs and flows, but now it is Foster who had made a big charge forward in that 19 kart, has dropped back 1 position as Camillo finds the handle once again. But commencing his final lap is Joseph Mawson. He works his way up the back straight ahead of Coleman, who's put in a very solid run. Had the lead for a moment, but has not been able to match the pace of Coleman. As he gets closed as the battle for 3rd continues on, Nicolau in the 34 and Camillo up the inside of Foster, who Foster had just passed him going over the bridge. So we've seen some great battling going on there in the battle for 4th and 5th positions. Take nothing away though, the Arrow Karts Junior National Light champion for New South Wales will be Joseph Mawson as he gets the checkered flag. Second coming home, Jake Coleman. Then it's Jordan Nicolau who finishes just ahead of Camillo, Nathan Camillo in the 92. Then it's back to the 19 of James Foster. Hazelwood, Todd Hazelwood from South Australia back there in the 11. Joshua Seaford, after getting up as high as 3rd position, has faded back to 7th place. The 55 of Brock Plum in 8th position. Then it's Jordan Zammit in the 24. Liam Sager in the 6 rounds out the top 10.